Hello everybody, I'm gonna go through the dbwebb command and why we're using it as such. Because when we are here, you can see here I'm at the start page and then the prerequisites and the dbwebb installation guide. Here's a lot of commands just thrown at you and I'm gonna try to clarify some of them. We start from the beginning. The dbwebb is a CLI, it's a command line interface. It's a small, pretty large program that we use in the terminal, aka the command line. And it's an interface because we can use it as a program. We use it because we use dbwebb in all our courses, and we use it because for the students to download the course material, we update it through Git. I'm coming to that. And the students hand in their assignments as well. They publish it to the student server. Everything with the help of the dbwebb command. So in our Linux environment, Unix environment, we have to install some programs, and those are starting with Git. It's a version control, perhaps software you can call it. It's widely used. I bet a lot of you already used it and knows how to handle it. For those of you who don't, you don't have to learn Git because the dbwebb command handles everything for you. But in the background we use Git. Also use curl. It's a program that fetches things from URL addresses, files and such. Wget, pretty much the same. We get files in our terminal. We use wget as a command to fetch files from URLs. rsync, remote sync. It's a program widely used as well for copying files. What's especially good about rsync is that it synchronizes all the files. So, for example, you work on your assignment on your local machine, you publish it, you hand in to your student server, and you do, I forgot to add something. Then you change your files on your local machine and you publish it again. Then rsync is synchronizing the files, so you're only uploading the files you have changed. And it's doing it encrypted as such. It's good. SSH, it's used to remotely log in to a server or another computer. In this case, we're using it from our local machine, our host operating system, perhaps Windows or Mac OS. We use SSH, secure shell, to remotely access our server, Debian installation. Cool. That's pretty much the programs that are being installed and used in the background. So this long one-liner, if you see a $sign in the beginning, that indicates that it's a terminal command. So you don't copy the $sign. It's the prompt. Okay, we copy this, and SU is switch user. By default, we're going to the root user, and we are gonna execute the command, and the command is apt-get install sudo. apt-get is a package manager for Debian. We use apt-get to install and to remove and update software. semicolon, that one, it breaks the command, so we can write several commands on one line. So here's next command, echo. Echo, it prints something. And what's it gonna print? Yes, it's gonna print the environment variable $user. It's the current logged in user. We can see it echo. Remember, we print something. $user is an environment variable. And we can see that it's Kenneth. It's the current logged in user. Okay? Always in $user. And we are echoing the name and some configurations because we don't want to use a password all the time. We redirect it. You can find this in another video. We redirect the output, so instead of printing it to the screen, we are sending the output to that file. etc or etc sudoers.d, and my user has their own file. Okay, then we break the command. Next command, cat. You can find this in the video as well. We print something. And we print something from a file. And it's just so we're gonna see what's inside the file we just created. Okay, just run it. If you find one-liners online, it's often a good example to break it down yourself and try to find out what all the parts does. Because it's easy to sneak in some bogus commands in here. But I promise you, we don't have any bogus commands. I copy, and I have installed guest editions, so I can just paste it. A tip to paste in Debian, you can use mouse 3. Click the mouse wheel. Okay, here we have the whole command. And enter. Now we want password. And it's because here we're switching user, and we by default we're going to root. So I need the root password. My password is root, so it's easy to remember. And now we have installed. We can see here it's reading the package lists, and sudo is already the newest version. Okay, then it didn't install it. At the bottom, when we install stuff, we can always see what has happened. And in this case, 0 upgraded, 0 newly installed, and yeah, it was only one command. And here is the result of the cat on the sudo's d file. Cool, now I can use sudo because I am in the sudo group. That was the first line. Now, when I can install stuff as an elevated user, I use sudo, and sudo stands for exactly substitute user do. And by default it's to the privileged user root. And now we have the same access. apt-get, the package manager, we want to install something. We tell the apt-get that we want to install. And here, separated by space, we can add the programs we want. And here we are curl, rsync, wget, git, and ssh. Okay, nothing bogus going on. Copy, paste, and hit enter. It's a lot of text. You don't have to read everything about it, but it's useful information. We can see here 8 newly installed packages. That's good. And when everything's done, It's gonna take 41.5 megabytes of space. Yeah, it's okay. Another tip, when you see these, do you want to continue, are you sure, or all the questions that can pop up in the terminal. It's a standard that one of the letters are capital. In this case is the Y. And that means if you just hit enter, you're automatically gonna choose the capital one. So I don't have to type anything, just press enter and I am confirming this. It's not so hard to press Y, but why not? There we go. Now we have installed all the programs. Next step, the dbwebb CLI program that we're gonna use. Here's another long one-liner. Shortly it uses wget that we installed. This is called command substitution. The dollar parenthesis and it ends there. Inside it's a long command and it's gonna use the result of that command. So we use wget to fetch a file, some options. The file is found here. Install it bash. And as an elevated user, we use sudo and we bash. And what are we gonna use bash on? Yeah, it's the result. Okay. Nothing dangerous. Success. That's good. Now we're done with that. We have installed it and we can then use dbwebb -- version. The -- is an option to the program dbwebb, and the command dbwebb. You can always also see only one dash and followed by a single letter. This is the original style of options, but everyone is lazy by default, so instead of -- version we can use -v. No, we couldn't. A lot of the times we can do it. Now this was probably set only to have -- version. Or perhaps it's capital B. Ah, no. Okay, both -- and a single dash, those are options to the command. Okay. No. Just dbwebb check. Here we go. Here we can see the environment and what the dbwebb is using, the dbwebb command. We can see that we have all the programs necessary. They are installed and can be found here. So far so good. We find some info about our operating system, version, the config file. Yeah. We have to set the remote user and remote host because we are going to upload to the student server. So we go down and we can see that we are going to configure dbwebb. Okay, just run the command dbwebb config, and here in the brackets you are seeing your username, but here you want your student acronym. Okay, your student acronym. I'm using my employee acronym and my fake student acronym. Okay, now the config file has been created. If we want to look at it, can find it here. The tilde sign. It stands for the home folder. And inside the home folder there's a file. If a file begins with a dot or a folder, it's hidden. So you don't see this normally. But we know it's there and we can see what's inside it. Okay. Here we can see which user I chose. The host. It's the student server at BTH. You also get a public site that's connected to the student server. And as an assignment, we're gonna publish a website. Okay, the base directory is called dbwebb. That's why it's good if you have dbwebb both locally and remote. Yeah, it's a config file. We don't have to dig deep into it. Okay, and now we gotta get the course material. CD tilde. Tilde is home folder. We are already in our home folder. Yes, but just to show you that we're ending up in the same folder, we do like that. Okay? Oops. To clear the terminal, we use Control L. Control L. Or the word clear. It's the same stuff. We make a directory, dbwebb courses. Okay. Make directory. It's a command everybody can use. dbwebb courses. ls, we list what's in the folder. And here we can see dbwebb courses folder. That's good. We enter the folder, cd, change directory. Okay, let's do it. Perhaps some of you thought, oh shit, he's typing really fast. No, I don't. I use tab completion. This is the files or folders I can use. And if I just type lowercase d and I press tab, the tab key, it automatically gonna use the best option from the only options that's working from the you get it. If I use a capital D, then we have 1, 2, 3 possible folders. Nothing happens. I press tab again. Well, then I get the options that's matching the capital D. And if I want desktop, I only have to type DE because it's the only match. Then I press tab again and it's completing the command. It's called tab completion. Okay. So CD, just a small d, and it's going really fast when you get the hang of it to move around. Okay, we are in a home folder. We are in the dbwebb courses folder. What are we gonna do? We're gonna clone the Unix course. Okay, all the course material. If we just type dbwebb clone, we get a list of all the courses we have. And we can see that we have Unix somewhere. Oh, there we go. Unix. Perfect. There I used arrow up. We have history. So arrow up and tab completions are two very useful tips. Yeah. dbwebb clone Unix. And here, if I update something in the course, perhaps if I misspelled something in an article or some of the answers in the labs are wrong or whatever, then I tell you, perhaps on Canvas, to do an update. I upload to Git and you use dbwebb update. Then you do the same thing. You clone the Unix again, but only the files changed, thanks to rsync. So dbwebb update, it updates your course material. But I tell you when you need to update. Perhaps you don't have to do it anytime. Okay, ls, we list what we have in the dbwebb courses folder, and we have a folder called Unix. We enter that folder, and we have some files. Folders. An option to list to ls is -l. It's a long listing format. Then we get some more information. I'm gonna go through everything in another video. Now we're focusing on the files and folders found in the course material. Regarding these, perhaps we have something in the example folder. The blue ones are folders, the white ones are files. You can also see it here. It begins with a D, then it's a directory. Okay, cd example, change directory. And we list what we have. Cool, here we have some example files that were used in the assignments. Whenever you need to use them, browse to them and look at them, or open them in an editor, or when you need them, it's gonna be in the assignment criteria or the instructions. Copy this folder from the example or something like that. And you get the command as well. cd cd ... moves you back or up one level. So I'm gonna end up in the Unix folder. Just a single dot is the current folder, and ... is one folder back. ls-l. There we go. You don't have to care about any one of these. These are only used for to manage the courses. But a folder you need is... I'm sorry, we take it one step at a time. I'm getting a little ahead. I saw here that first of all we're gonna log into the server. So we use dbwebb login. Command that's logging you into the student server. You first see this screen. It's a safety measure. Are you sure you want to connect to this server? And it's storing a fingerprint. And here I have to type the word yes. You can see nothing is capital, so there are no default this time. So I type the word yes. And we added ssh.student.bth.se as a known host. It's okay, it's a trusted server. Okay, and now they want my student password. Two things. I hope you have a password. You got it somewhere, somehow. I think it's the same as you use in Canvas. The second thing I'm gonna say is that when you type a password in the terminal, you don't see anything. So don't think it's broken. It's supposed to not happen anything. Okay, so I've typed it, and here we are logged in. We can see here my acronym is at Seekers. Seekers is the host name of one of the student servers. The other one is Suite. And what do we have? We have the dbwebb courses. We have a www folder. It was hard to say. The www folder is a public folder that we can access from wherever we want. So we start there, and there we have the web courses folder again. The reason is that this is a public one, everybody can reach it. So here your assignment's gonna end up, but a lot of the files are being locked, so you can't cheat by looking at each other's. The dbwebb courses found in the root here, or where we ended up when we logged in. That folder are only visible to you and to the teacher team. Oh, to me. Because there are all your files unscrambled. So first you upload automatically. The files are being uploaded there. And then a copy of them are being scrambled and sent to the public place. So when I look at your files, I'm getting these files. The hidden ones. Those are original. Okay? Cool. We can check what index is all about. It's some HTML code. It's a title called student, and this is the letter Ä. It's a Swedish letter. Change me, it says. And to be able to look at this, we're gonna go to a browser. We're gonna go a new one. Then we're gonna go to www. student.phc. Let's see if I remember this one. Perhaps it's hard for you to see what I'm typing. It's www.student.bth.se/tilde and your acronym. There you have your own place. So here it says change me in Swedish. What's the file that we looked at. So now we are in the same place. Here is the public way. Everybody can reach this one. And here we are using SSH, secure shell. We have connected to the student server, and we can see the same files and folders. Okay, so we are later gonna use dbwebb courses. You're gonna have one folder here. It's called Unix, and there we have a me folder that we're gonna fix in a moment. Okay, we are logged into the server. We type exit to exit the server, and now we're back home. Okay, we're gonna install SSH keys, because you noticed I had to type my student password when I logged in, and it's a bit tedious, and we don't want to do it every time, especially not to the student server, because we don't want to type the password every time. So we install SSH key. It's gonna take a fingerprint, an RSA key, and store locally, and then a copy of that one is stored remotely. So you have one on Debian and one on the student server. So when you try to use SSH and log in, it's first gonna look at these keys. Oh, they are matching. No password needed. Come here. Okay. dbwebb. Come on. SSH key. Okay, press enter or return to continue. Okay. This is a RSA key. It's randomized. Now, next step is it gonna install it on a student server. So we have to type the password one time here. Remember, you can't see anything when you're typing a password. And done. Now, if we use dbwebb login, we don't have to type the password. We immediately ends up at the server, in the server, on the server, whatever it's called. Okay. Now we're gonna fix the files we're actually gonna use and the folder we're gonna care about inside the Unix folder. dbwebb init. It's doing 4 things. Okay, now it's done. It's creating a folder structure locally. So now we got a folder called me, and there is the place where you are gonna work. And here we have, it says kmom01, 02, it's assignment 1. But it's our regular naming. Okay. The command init also maps this me folder and all content to the student server. So now we can log into the student server here, and we got the me folder inside Unix as well. And we can look at it. I haven't done anything in this folder, so they are empty. Here we should have, yeah, you're gonna work on this in the first assignment. Yeah. Okay, now you have dbwebb, the dbwebb command, and we have used a lot of stuff already. You don't have to know all the terms and programs we have used. But be aware that the dbwebb command uses several other programs to work properly. But there are no bogus code or bogus programs, I promise. So, this was the dbwebb command. We have to, one more thing. dbwebb-h help. This is what the dbwebb command can do. I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast, but you have the possibility to slow down the speed on YouTube or hit pause when you are tired of listening to me. We have looked at the command check, dbwebb check, then we saw our environment. We have used config, we created the config file. If we typed the wrong acronym that we're going to use there, it's 4 letters and 2 digits. We can just run dbwebb config again, and then we recreate the config file. So no harm done. If we type self-update, don't care about the brackets there, it's optional. But just self-update, it updates the dbwebb command to the latest version. Okay? Perhaps you have to use it as sudo, execute it with sudo. I tell you if you need to do it. Ssh key, we have used it, we have created a key that removes the, so we don't have to use the password. Okay, log in, we log in through remote server. The remote server is set to the student server. We use clone, we download the course material. We have used init to create the folder structure, the me folder. You don't have to care about GitHub. Update, we talked about. Update the material, the course repository. It's the Unix folder. That's the repository, because it's called repository on GitHub. And that is what you download. I tell you if you need to update. Upload. You don't validate your files, you just upload the stuff to a server. You don't have to use that one either. You don't have to use download. Create. We have it in the instructions when it's time for the first lab. We create a lab. So perhaps dbwebb create lab 1 or bash 1 or whatever it's called. Recreate. I tell you if you need to do it. You do it if something has changed or if some answers are wrong, or yeah. Then I fix it, upload, and you just recreate. Validate. We use a code validator on the code. In our case, shell check on bash code at least. I think we removed the validation for the website you're going to create, because the focus is not to create a website, so we can't enforce clean validation. This one, publish. You hand in by writing dbwebb publish kmom01. Okay, so that is the part in here. You can do dbwebb publish me, then you take your whole me folder and upload whatever rocks your boat. Or kmom01, kmom02, then you take all the necessary files you have worked on and upload it. It also in the instructions at the bottom of the assignments, it says do this. Yeah. Publish fast. You publish without validating. When I correct it, or whoever is gonna correct the assignments, we are validating the code. So you can't just publish fast and ignore validation errors on the bash code or something like that, because we are validating it, and if it's wrong, then you have to do it again. You have to fix the validation. Okay, so do publish. We are using inspect, the one who is correcting the assignments. You can do it on yourself, but you can't do it on a fellow student. So you have the permissions to do it on yourself. To be sure everything's up to speed, try it. Or don't try it. Yeah, that's about everything you need to know. And here you can see, it's verbose, the small v, not version. There are two variants of options, double dash and single dash. Single dash is one letter, double dash is a word. And here you have some examples of it. Okay? Yeah, if something's unclear, ask. And if I give you an answer you're not satisfied with, then ask again and again until you're good to go and you have got the answer that you wanted. Okay? There are no stupid questions. It's only me who can give you stupid answers. That's the dbwebb command. That's how we use it to handle the course material and to hand in and to download and everything. Okay? Perhaps I'll be making more videos. Bye bye.